Hey, everybody. Today on the podcast, we are going to talk about the ETF watch a little bit and just what our view is on investing in short-term holds, long-term holds, Bitcoin, etc. Glad you're with us. Boom.
Awesome. Hey, so we were just talking about, I said, I don't know what the number is about the number of people who are unbanked, right? So by unbanked, those are people who don't either have access to or don't have their money in a bank. They just don't. They're like day-to-day day workers, right, who get paid in cash, right? And so those people have they have zero access to living that life where they're thinking about, I'm going to get a Bitcoin or I'm going to buy some of this crypto. Right. And they're kind of living in this alternate world that sits outside of this centralized and decentralized discussion, right? They're in that gray area. And my thought was, as we talked about individuals and managing their crypto, right, from an investment perspective, from a self-custody perspective, I said, what would those people do? And that's where I thought, well, if those people don't have the opportunity, they would really benefit from a mechanism that allows them, that we're able to onboard them to something, but then portions of it could be invested. But we're also that for their future, but they're not investing $1 million, right? They're investing much, much, much smaller amounts. So maybe there's an opportunity for micro investments, but micro investments happen through funds, right? I can't do it for 1 million people, each one individually, but I could take those 1 million people, maybe they put $150 every year into it. And especially, I'm not talking about like in the US, I'm talking in, like in India and Pakistan and just different parts of the world, South America. Maybe it's $150 a year they're putting into it, but we're managing the fund for it, right? And their investment is part of this larger fund.
Yeah,
and then they
which is
get the benefit of it.
Aren't you describing a DAO?
We can put it into the DAO.
Yeah, that's what a DAO is. It's everybody coming together, putting their money in behind something that they believe in, and that's basically what you're describing.
Well, they might not believe in it. They might not care.
It could be anything, though.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that but they kind of sit outside of that. These larger high value or larger investors would benefit from that individual approach.
Sure.
And I think these micro investments would benefit from the fund approach. So which one is better? It depends, right, on who the person is and what they're trying to accomplish. So anyway, you and I were having that discussion, right, with Mike the other day, just over chat, of which one do we want to be? I think the answer is both. I think that's what it lands. Yeah, I think it lands up on both. I don't think, and maybe it is, right? The DAO and is the option, but I think somehow we're going to have to figure out what the both is, right? When we come to India, for example, I could probably I know a company that helps people get them to put their money into cooperative banks, right? Like they're unbanked. Let's at least get them into a cooperative bank. Well, what if they turned around and said, enabled it so all of those people are able to put a portion aside into an investment, right? Some long-term investments.
Sure.
that might be like, 500,000 people. Half a
Yeah.
million people putting in, $200, right? Is like what? Is that like do the math? I'm like,
It's a lot of money.
yeah, it's a lot of money, right? And so it's
I
I think
think
$10 million, but no, I would say, I have my Binance account, and that's where I'm kind of playing with my altcoins. I realized, you can be exposed to all of these new opportunities, but just because you have a Coinbase account doesn't mean you can take advantage of those
it's true.
opportunities.
Yeah.
And so I think that if you are someone who's thinking about how do I take advantage of all the possible opportunities there, you can't just be on one exchange. You
Yeah.
have to, you have to be in multiple places, and then to be able to play the game as comprehensively as you want to take advantage of this stuff. And so, I would hear someone say, "Oh, you should really be watching this coin," and I go look, and it's not available. And
Yeah.
then at least now today, I can go to Binance, take a look, take a look at some of the other exchanges to see what I can do, because I do. I want to play.
Sure.
Right? Right? And you could buy Bitcoin everywhere, but you cannot buy, all these other,
Is there one
smaller
that
ones.
you decided to take a plunge on, a small amount?
Yeah. What was the one that I just did today? There, Oasis. I heard about it, so let me try that one. Let me see.
Oasis coin?
Yeah, I forgot. Hold on. Can you look it up real quick?
What it does? What it is?
Dude, I didn't even have the chance to do all that. I'm just sitting in a rickshaw, and I'm like, hey, let me give this a go and see. Because
How much is the coin?
It's like practically nothing. That's fine.
Oh,
Oh yeah, Rose.
it's called Rose.
Yeah,
Or it went up.
it's like, what did it go up to? Maybe my touch is changing. Usually when I buy it goes down. So maybe there's something. Maybe it started. I think it was something like at 11 cents or something crazy
Yeah.
like that. So, I'm like, yeah, why not?
Why not?
Let me give it a go. Let's see.
So this is the
and,
thing about bull markets that a lot of people talk about projects, trust the project. We've said that before. Do your own research, look at all the things. But I would say in bull markets, most people are just like, yeah, it's at 10 cents. Yeah, throw a couple $100 at it, see what happens. What's the project do? I have no idea. What's the market cap? I don't know. It's just at 11 cents. I'm going to throw a little money. Hey, it hit 12. Sweet. This is fun. It's also known as gambling. And if you're cool with that, great.
That's right.
So I'll tell you, here's a story
I'm
from
the slot machines, bro.
Yeah.
Playing the slot machines.
Bull markets are like that though, because everything goes up. And I remember sitting, waiting for my wife. It must have been 21 or end of 20. It was probably beginning of 21. Bull market, everything's going nuts. I'm waiting for my wife. I'm in a Walmart parking lot. And I'm like to myself, I'm going to make $100 in the next 20 minutes. So I'm looking through what's low today. Like found something, boom, bought it. I'm just watching it. I'm watching the 1 minute chart, and I'm just seeing how much I'm what I need to get. Oh, it's going down, going up, going down. And it spiked, and I'm like, sell, boom. And I made $100 in 10 minutes. And I was like, I'm a genius. I'm never going to have to work again a day in my life, because I'd only been in for a couple of years. It was my first bull market, and literally everything you just throw at, boom, just going to go up. Doesn't matter until you ride out a bear market. And then it's like, oh, it just doesn't automatically go up.
It doesn't work that way.
All that money disappeared for a lot of people, even big guys, some of the big YouTube channel dudes like lost a ton of money and probably are like talking about it still and like seem like a big deal. But I know a lot of the guys that have lost like majority of what they put in. And now it's like, all right, we're going to try again. And I've heard it said that it takes about 2 bull markets to really make it, because you'll go through a bull market. Awesome. I'm a genius. And then it's bear market. Oh, and you're like, I'll never do this again. I'll always take profit. I'll always do this. And then you do it again. And it's like that kind of drug of like, oh man, everything's going up again. I'm going to make my money back. I can do this. This is awesome. And then it's like, it goes back down again. So, and then even this time, every time it's like, hey, maybe this is a super cycle. Maybe there's never going to be another bear market. Maybe it's just how it is. All the ETFs and all the big people are in and it's never going down. It's just another market. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, maybe not all the way down, but it is interesting to see like the whole thought process between bull market, bear market. I'm a genius. It doesn't matter what I put in. It could be Bonk. It could be Pepe. It could be whatever the next one I saw, SEI. It's always going to be another one. And There's always going to be FOMO. There's always going to be the thought process of, I don't want to miss out. And it just is the natural way of how everything goes.
I think I'm over that. Because I got in right at the tail end.
Yeah.
In 2021, and it just like immediately it just dropped, right? And so I feel like I've grown up in a bear market. Like it's always been this way in my life, right? And
sure.
So, and now we're hopefully coming into the bull market, and I don't have this like fear of missing out thing because it's never really happened to me. Like I just haven't seen it, right? I've always lived in scarcity mindset, I guess. I don't know what it is. Like, So at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna just take some money. I'm gonna throw those seeds out, and I'm not too worried about it. And all my money's going into Bitcoin, and then I have some of these other things that I'm playing with, and let's see what happens. Over the course of the next 12 to 18 months and see how things perform. But everybody I do talk to, the one thing that I do say, if you don't know, please find out. So I'll be more than happy to sit down and talk to you about it. If you're scared, let's talk about it. Right? Yeah. Because it's not a matter of, in my mind, like fear of missing out because you didn't put money towards, into a particular project, right? I think like what I always think about are the people who are not even thinking about it at all. Like they're still kind of thinking the old way, right?
Sure.
They're like, I don't even want to do crypto. I don't want to get involved. Now, that one is like, there's no fear of missing out because they don't even know about it. And I'm like, man, dude, I have a fear of missing out for them.
Yeah.
I really want to see them do well. People in my family, I'm like, please do something small, even. So I feel like I have that for other people, less than I do for myself.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
People that I care about. So I'm really looking forward to, I think, what the next 12 months is going to look like. I think it's just not even having fear. If you have it, right, just be smart about it, but put it into, we know what the winners are.
Yeah.
Right. And we know that if you want to go play the slot machine, go play the slot machine. Just don't do like $10 million in the slot machine.
Yeah. Don't use your majority of your portfolio in Bonk. Like this is not smart. It could 100x, but it could also negative 1,000x and shut up shop. So who knows? But it's going to be an exciting time for sure. Yeah,
for sure. So anyway, that's kind of the way I'm just playing it. And, every time I get a chance, can I do it on this exchange? Nope. I'm going to go to this one. Sure. Let me just put a little bit of money there and see. And then I'm trying to make the $100 an hour. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
$100 every 10 minutes.
So you have a Coinbase, American Coinbase account, right?
That's correct.
And then you have an Indian Binance account.
This is correct as well.
Are they much different? Are they set up pretty much the same type of deal? What's the layout like?
Coinbase handles a lot of those transactions for you, right? And
Okay.
you don't see a lot of the stuff that's happening. Like I know that when I made a purchase of some coin, when I first opened up Binance, there is that wait period of where it's looking for someone who's going to sell.
Yeah, right.
And you kind of see a little bit more transparency.
Okay.
That there's someone on the other end and you're waiting for them to say, okay,
Yeah.
and
A
it
make or
feels
take or
like
deal.
yeah. And so that's a little bit more, it's a lot more interesting. And I am kind of curious about Binance and kind of like how it works and it's different. It is different from Coinbase leaves a lot like you're not fully made aware of what's going on. You go ahead and you buy, it happens, right? At some point. I think Binance provides a little bit more transparency behind the scenes of what's happening. So, and of course, they give you access to stuff that you don't have on Coinbase. I mean, there's stuff that I can buy. Like I said, I went to go try to buy, Rose.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it on Coinbase. I was like, oh, let me just go over here to Binance.
Where did you hear about Rose?
I was on X and just followed some people, and they're like,
"This is it."
Like, yeah, like I'm like, you know what? Why not? Why not just take a look? It's not. You never know, right? I could just put it in my portfolio, not have to think about it, put it away, right? It's stuff to play with. I already had some money sitting in there, right? Some funds.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Something to do while I'm riding in an auto rickshaw, right?
So you're riding through India. This is 2024. This is so 2024. You're riding in an auto rickshaw in India. Horns honking. People are everywhere. Somebody's trying to like beg for money from you. And you're like, hold on. Rose, buy.
Yes.
Wait for it. There. Awesome. I got
it. True story. Right, man. Verified. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly how it happened, Yeah. And listen, if it works out, like a couple of years, I'm like, man, remember that time that I was just riding in the auto rickshaw? Right? Yeah, like I just made a ton of ducats with that, man.
I do think it's interesting, like, so crypto and digital assets and everything it's the wave. It's why we're all into. We want to be around it. We think it's the future. But it is interesting that like people are the same and have been the same forever, and the same tendencies happen. So like here, you and I, we believe in Bitcoin deeply, believe in Ethereum and some of the blue chips, but it's human nature to like have a small bag of whatever. And like, what are you talking about? Whether you want to call it gambling or just like small investments. And what was it years and years ago is penny stocks. It's like, hey man, if one of these makes it big, then think about where I'll be sitting. And it's the same deal. It's like human nature is never going to change. Like hopefully you are putting the majority of your funding in blue chip stocks, blue chip cryptos, et cetera, et cetera. But then I'm the same. I have just like a small percentage that's like, here's just, I'm going to do this. And so at certain points I've had like all of my small fund bag that's been in Doge, and then I rotate it into something else. And it's like, just even recently, a week ago, I'm like, I'm going to diversify into like 6 that I think could be a big deal in 2024. Mm-hmm. And I'll just see. That way I'm not just like all into one. I'm not just all into Sol, or because I believe in Sol. Not all just into what else am I into right now? SEI. because I've heard good stuff about that. It's just like a very small percentage, and you don't know which one's going to take off. But it is kind of fun. It's the fun side. It literally is. It's just like, hey, let's see what happens. And maybe you have to be okay though if all of those literally like go to zero or they don't do anything. Like you just have to be okay with that. And so that's why you shouldn't put your whole portfolio into that kind of thing, because it could outperform Bitcoin or it could close up shop tomorrow. You just don't know. So, but it is kind of fun.
Well, I would say that you communicated kind of this high level strategy of just, I think that you would even see traditionally in the stock exchange, right? That there are these blue chip stocks that people are like, if you could put your money in there and just sat on it, you'd be a millionaire today.
Right.
And those are, these are like, you know, back in the day, it was like the IBMs of the world. They were like blue chip, right? But today, right, you know, there's other companies, but those are the blue chips, right?
Yeah.
The stocks that you would do. Well, we have the same, right, in the crypto world. So we know who those are, right? Yeah. Those are Bitcoin and Ethereum, or those two who sit there and you say, listen, I'm going to put a certain percentage over there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you know, when I was trading stocks, there were things that I was like, I like to play around with. I want to go buy Cisco at 20 bucks and like, you know, I do all these other things at the time. And so that doesn't change, right? As you said, our behavior does not change. We might have been operating that way before. Now we're in crypto. It doesn't change. We still operate the same way. And so, but we need to just protect ourselves against this tendency to play with the larger, right? Assets that we're holding on to. Exactly. Let's keep those safe. Yeah. Let's play and kind of scratch that itch with those, you know, a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, a couple hundred there. It didn't perform. Not a big deal, right? I can deal with it. The day you're like, oh man, I just like sold all my Ethereum to go buy, you know, like in my case, Rose. I would not have.
I want some Rose.
Would not have done that. Yeah, but I would not have done that.
It's a good space to be. Like, if you think about if we're in crypto, what's the most boring thing you can buy? Bitcoin, right? Like that is literally the most boring thing that you can buy. But if you're in traditional finance, what's the riskiest thing you can buy? Probably Bitcoin. At this point, it's like, I don't know. And it's like, that's why we're all like in traditional finance. We're all like sitting on our hands and everybody's like, hey, is this Bitcoin ETF? And it's risky. And the SEC is all worried about it, et cetera, because it's the riskiest thing that they can put out. And so I think it's good. And I've heard other guys say this. It's good to be like doing the most boring thing that you can do in finance, as well as the riskiest thing, and you kind of merge them together. Traditional finance thinks Bitcoin is super risky. The crypto world thinks it's super boring, and so if you can kind of merge those two, you're probably right where you need to be.
Right. No, and I agree. And so, anyway, I think we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
See some stuff in the next couple of weeks. Everybody's waiting. But I would also say, you know, hey, don't be disappointed. Right? If it doesn't happen right away, or don't be disappointed all of a sudden, even the ETF comes out, if you don't all of a sudden see this incredible immediate spike, like, don't be disappointed. Like, I think we just have to have, as always, we've talked about, have a long game, long view to this. And then it'll play out. I think the game will play out as how we've been talking about. So
I think it's so cool to have something like Bitcoin because it's hard money, you can't screw around with. There's fixed supply, and it teaches just good values for humanity. And you have like fiat that can be, it's kind of the lie of money. Like it can be inflated to whatever, they can print as much as they want to it, but Bitcoin has this fixed standard of what it is. And it teaches that traditional value of, hey, like be who you say you are, have integrity in everything you're doing. And that is what Bitcoin is in finance. And I saw, is it Chamath I forget Chamath's last name because everybody always calls him Chamath, but he was big in Facebook and is now a big billionaire that got into Bitcoin super early. But on his podcast, he was talking about how 2024 is the year. Like, it's the year that we'll see if Bitcoin is the mass adoption year and everybody pulls in for it and jumps in traditional finance, et cetera, and or if it's not, and if it's just going to be the thing that it kind of becomes gold 2.0. But it'll be interesting to see. It's definitely the year of change for a lot of people and a lot of things, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, all right. Anything else, Ron, you want to talk about today?
Not for me. I think it could be one of our shorter episodes, but I think like everybody else, we're on big ETF watch, and we'll see what happens.
Sounds good.
But
yeah, I agree.
I think, like you said, though, like this is a long-term thing. This is, if it gets approved, awesome. If it doesn't get approved, don't lose your mind. It'll get approved at some point. Even if it never did, like I said, Bitcoin is like integrity, and it's fixed, and it is what it's going to be. And that's the long-term viewpoint of how we need to be thinking in all of our lives. And so that also promotes long-term thinking, not short, get rich quick thought. And so don't worry about this year. Worry about 5 years from now. Worry about 10 years from now. It's a long-term view. So I think that's
I know.
what I'd like
I agree.
to end on.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's something that everybody who is on board with the Bitcoin trade and really needs to think about that. This is something that you want to fight for, right?
Yeah.
And to maintain.
Yeah.
Right. And not just be like, oh, this is transitioned out. I think that there's a great deal of obviously financial value, but there's also a great deal of I think humanity built into it, right?
Sure.
And concern and care for people. So I think it's something that's worth fighting for. So don't give up on it. Have a long view of it.
Long-term view.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Cool, man.
Let's see what happens.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Be good. I'll catch you later.
Bye.
Peace.
You are listening to Hard Knock Crypto. New episodes drop every Friday.